Hi! For our scripture and scrapping project this month, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to use the verse, like apples of gold in settings of silver is a word spoken in right circumstances. And that's Proverbs 25:11. And I wanted to do a card because those are the words that are usually the ones that mean the most to us when we get an encouraging word or a word that helps us when it's spoken in the right circumstances. So this is what the card's going to look like. This is a design Debbie Lowe showed me, and she was the one that suggested, hey, why don't we do some cards? So we're going to try this. So you can see it has a front, it has a section where you can add a gift card, and it has just like a little decorative edge there. And so I'm going to just do a little different. Everything we do today is going to be a little different. We're not making a page necessarily, and I'm not going to necessarily put everything together, but I'll show you what I did to make this. And tomorrow when we have this in person, Debbie's going to show us how to do the envelopes to go with this. And so I will take a video of her doing that and add that afterwards. My cat has jumped up on the table, so we may have a visitor in the scene here. So to make this, you start out with, and I'll put these measurements in the captions. This is a 11-inch long by 4 1/4 inch wide piece of paper. I used cardstock. And we're going to score it with the scoring blade. And we're going to score it at 1 1/2 inches. And 5 1/2 inches. I'm going to go ahead and stick that out there so I can get it. Sorry, all the crackling is the kitty cat. So there we have the scores, and the first smaller area that folds, that's the area that would hold a gift card if you wanted to. You could put some other decorative thing if you didn't want to. And then there's the middle fold, and that leaves this piece here that's kind of an extra element where you could decorate. Debbie took a punch and punched here. I'm going to use one of the old, I've pulled out several older tools today. This is one of the older blue circle punches, and I'm just going to give myself a little tab where you can open that easy. I'm eyeballing it, but you could mark it and measure it. Yep, you can see I'm off a little bit. When I make this tomorrow, I will measure that a little bit better, but that gives you a little thumb hold to open. This piece here is 4 1/4 inches tall and 4 inches wide. So you can add a piece of paper on top of that, 4 inches tall by 3 3/4 inches wide. And I will put these measurements once again. And I'm going to just add this on just so you can see that. In my example, I made the little apples. There's our apple of gold, and here's our setting of silver. The apple of gold and the red apple are made using the old hearts. Okay, if you have other hearts, you can use those. You may have heart stickers. I have several collections from fall and probably back to school that have hearts that you could pull out, or embellishments. But if you decide to punch, you can just take a heart and trim the bottom just a little bit, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just kind of cutting off that bottom and a sort of a wavy sort of edge to give it a more flat bottom. And then you're going to add a little leaf to that but you can see that's where the heart is. To make the plate, I use the middle-sized creative custom cutting system with the red blade, and then I cut out a second piece of paper, the same color, the same silver with the blue blade, and then I use foam squares to kind of pop that up. The little leaves, I use some punches. There's this one that has a nice small leaf. This one has several leaves, and I just kind of punched off one of these little ones at the edge. But you could also just hand do it, or you may have leaf stickers, leaf embellishments that you want to use. This little piece here is 1 inch wide, and it's 4 inches long. On this one, I added the verse here on the front, and I'm going to have some printed out if you want to use that, where you could add your verse on the front, but you may want to put your verse inside. So I'll also have a larger size where you could add a verse inside. Clara's going to be bringing stamps for happy birthday, thank you, get well soon, congratulations, all those kind of things, where you can add that to your card as well. If you don't want to do a card and you want to do a page instead, let me show you what I did. I adapted, let me move this out of the way, and I'm going to scoot this up just a little bit. There we go. I adapted the card to be like the a larger scale for the page. These are using the smaller heart custom cutting system, and I use the red blade for the smaller apple and the blue blade for the larger apple. And same thing here, I just cut, and see this, you could use designer paper instead of cardstock. Just trim off the bottom of that heart and you have an apple. For the plates, I use the jumbo with the blue blade for the bigger ring, and then I use the biggest of the circles with the blue blade on the outside for the inner part to give that dimension, and I did use foam tape underneath. And so you can see I have a strip on the side, kind of a frame here, but the same idea as our card. And then you would just put your verse here, or you could add it here if you just wanted to use verse only. If you wanted to add pictures, you have room for some here. I also found this laser paper from a few years ago that I'm going to probably use as the page to go with this. And I have one extra if anybody would like it. So you can see you can do almost anything with this apple idea. I think that it's a wonderful verse, and I'm looking forward to doing this project with you tomorrow. I guess one last thing, this leaf here was with this punch here. I will include all the information in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow or seeing your creations online. Thanks. Bye-bye.